Hello YouTube. Back with another video today. Got our second video today. Like I said in this morning's video when we hit legs, said I was gonna make a video about God and kind of go and talk about some things that are important, and I feel like a lot of people need to know and try to get in their mind and to just try to build their connection with the Lord. And I want to talk about kind of like what heaven is like, how to get to heaven. My friend asked how long we were going to be in heaven yesterday, and these are the type of questions that people have, and they need to know them. So we got the Bible here, and so that if anything that I need to make sure I'm saying right, I got it in here. And first off, I think we'll just start with some of the questions my friend had yesterday when we hung out. We were walking back from the cemetery, and if you hear any screaming, the neighbors are outside swimming right now. They have a heated pool, so they can be out there in the cold. It's like 50 degrees. But we were walking back from the cemetery, and he had some questions about heaven. He was like, what's heaven even like? How long are we going to be there? And so I started explaining to him on the way back to the house. I was like, well, in heaven, it says we're all going to have our own mansions. I said, God will be the light. There will be no sense of time. I told him that we won't look anything like we do here on earth. We'll look completely different, but we will recognize each other in heaven. We won't miss our old lives. There's something else I think that I told him. I'm trying to think. Here, I'm blanking. Let me get back to it. I remember what the other thing was that I had to say. He asked how long we were going to be in heaven, and that's eternity. Once you get to heaven, or if you go to hell, which I'm going to explain how you can not go to hell in a second, but when you get to heaven or hell, whether it may be whether it's one of those, you're there for eternity. Like, you're just there. You're never going to leave. Once you've died and your soul has left the earth and went to heaven, you're there forever, and you're never going to leave there. So, and he was like, but what about our old lives? And I was like, well, we're not going to miss our old lives. Like, we're going to have like all these things in heaven that we need, and we're not going to miss anything that we had here. Once you're gone, all this stuff is like, it's forgotten. You're not gonna miss it. You're not gonna miss your house. You're not gonna miss your land. You're not gonna miss certain things that you did. You're just gonna be in heaven, and none of that stuff is gonna matter anymore. You're gonna have everything you need in heaven. You're gonna have God. You're gonna have a mansion. You're gonna be there for eternity. You're not gonna in heaven. It also says that there's not gonna be any sadness. You're never gonna experience sadness. You're always gonna be happy. You're always going to be in a fulfilling mood. And so he was talking about just like what it was going to be like there, because obviously, you get so used to being on earth that you feel like heaven's going to be scary, because you enjoy so much of what you have here, and so much of what you enjoy on earth is materialistic things like a home and furniture and cars, like stuff like that is materialistic. And that's one of the biggest things that you enjoy on earth. Like, even money, like money is the root of all evil. The more money most people have, the more evil they become. There's people that will have God in their life, and then when they start to get money and get rich, they forget about what's really important, and that's God, and they start to just become terrible people. So if you are ever somebody that you start to make a bunch of money and you get on top, don't forget that God can take that away like that. And what you thought was important is now gone. And the only thing that you really needed was God. And if you have money and you have God, you're winning 1,000 times more than if you were just rich. Like, if you have God in your life and you have money, now you're rich. So you're getting all these things that you have always wanted, and you have God's. And also, if you're rich, you're still going to go through stuff. You're going to still have mental health issues. You're still going to lose people in your life. Like, it's not going to be perfect. Yeah, you're going to be living better than a lot of people are. I mean, there's some people that even don't have any money at all, and they're living better than most millionaires and billionaires out there simply because they have God in their life. But you're gonna be living a lot better if you got God in your life and you're rich. And as somebody, like, if you're like poor or you don't have money, you're better off just having God and not even having money in the first place, because the only type of richness there really is having God. You're richer than the richest person in the world if you have God and they don't, because that rich person that doesn't have God in their life, they don't care about him, they don't let him in, they don't pray, they don't do anything, they die, boom, they're not going to heaven. But you're over here poor, you have no money, but you seek the Lord, you change for the Lord, you live through him, you're going to heaven. Now you're in a mansion in heaven without any sadness, living the best time of your life ever for eternity with God. And that guy that was here with all the money is in hell suffering for eternity. So who's really the rich one? Is it the one that has all the money in the world and they're here and they have all this power, but they don't have God? Or is it the person that's poor and has nothing materialistic here, but they have God and they go to heaven? That's the person that's the richest, is the one with God. The one that doesn't have God, who cares how much money they have? That's not even the important thing. People let money take over their lives. People let materialistic things take over their lives, and they just become terrible people. And some people, it's sad because you could look up to somebody on the internet that you think is an amazing person, and they're actually terrible people in real life. And I can say I've done that. I've looked up to people that I thought were great people, and they really weren't. They just had money and they had like a good voice and they could draw you in. And you just have to watch out for people like that. But there is people that have a lot of money and they have fame and they still have God in your life, and they can not only teach you how to make money, but they can teach you how to get closer to God. And that's the type of people that you really got to look up to. And it doesn't even matter if they have money and they can give good advice. I listen to people, I don't care if they have money or not. If they know what they're talking about, if they know how to help me and lead me in the right direction, give me good advice, I'm going to go to that person over the one that has all the money but doesn't have all the advice. I mean, you don't want somebody to spread wrong information to you. And it's very easy to spread wrong information, especially like, with the Bible. We don't know everything. You could study the Bible front to back who knows how many times, and you're still not going to know everything. It's one of the most mysterious books in the entire world. I'd say it definitely is the most mysterious book in the entire world. Like you can see how many pages are in this, and there's so many different stories in here from the beginning and all the way to who knows. I mean, there's just a lot in here, and it also has all the answers to all your problems in here. And I talk to people all the time who are going through terrible times, and they don't know what to do. And I always tell them to go to God. Like, I had a friend that has been going through a lot, and he didn't know what to do. He was stuck. And I gave him advice about what he was going through, but I also told him to go to God. I said, God has the answers that you need. I told him to start opening his Bible and reading through it. And I told him to start praying. And a few weeks later, he came up to me in the hallway at school, and he told me, he was like, "You remember when you told me to pick up the Bible and start praying?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "It's helped a lot." He said it helped him more than he thought it would have. He said there were so many things that he read in there that really gave him a better outlook on his life. And he said that there was things he took for granted that he didn't even realize he was taking for granted. And he realized the importance of having God in his life. And now he's praying more. He's picking up his Bible. And I've noticed differences like inside of him and who he is as a person compared to who he used to be. And it's just amazing. Like, if you have knowledge about God, or you see somebody struggling and you're close to them, or even if you're not close to them and you just see somebody struggling, like, go talk to that person, give them advice, give them the advice that they need to, like, to have help in their life. You know what I mean? Like, somebody could be going through the most terrible thing, and whether you know them or not, like, you need to try to help that person out as best as you can. And there's people I see all the time that don't even believe in God, and people will go up to them and they'll still spread the word. And that's important, because you'd be surprised how many people don't believe in the Lord, and somebody who does will come up to them and give them godly advice, and it really changes that person's life. You could see somebody who's taken over by lust on the internet. Like, I've seen people that were just completely taken over by it, and that's what they base their whole life of. That's how they make money. And I can't tell you how many of these people I've seen turn to God and completely change their lives. And it's just amazing how well the Lord works in people's lives. Like, I know I'm not perfect at all, and I struggle with stuff. And there was, like, even just last year, I didn't have God in my life the way I do now. I believed in God. I went to church. I prayed. I gave advice to people, but I truly didn't have a relationship with him like I do now. I went through the motions. Like, I worshiped, I prayed, but I wasn't trying to live for God. I cussed. I had a lot of lustful thoughts. I judged very frequently. But like, it's just like, people don't understand that you can go to church and you can pray and you can worship and all of this stuff, but if you're not trying to live for the Lord, you're not trying to change things that you know are wrong, then that you're not going to make it into heaven. Like, I can say last year, if I had died and I was judged by God, I really don't think I would have made it to heaven last year. I was not trying to change anything. I was trying to be who I wanted to be. I was trying to plan everything out how I wanted it to be. And I just wasn't trying to change anything at all. I 100% don't think I would have made it to heaven last year if I had died. But I can tell you right now confidently that if I were to have died right now, and I pray that doesn't happen, I pray I live a long, fulfilling life and get to experience amazing things. But if I died right now, I really do think that I would make it to heaven. I feel like I've built a pretty good relationship with God. I feel like I've tried to change things in my life that I knew were wrong, and I notice day by day I'm getting better at it. And if you're somebody who you're struggling with lust, or you're struggling with cussing, you're struggling with judging people, whatever it may be, like, you can change that in a heartbeat. I was struggling with things, and I just sat there one day and I was like, I need to change. Like, I need to stop doing this stuff. And gradually, over a short period of time, I've noticed tremendous changes. And I think if you're somebody struggling with whatever it may be, just sit there and think about what you're doing and seek God. Go read the Bible. Go listen to a church service, or go listen to a Christian podcast on your phone, and you will be filled with so much knowledge. It's not even funny. You will actually want to, like, change just like that. Like, I probably talked about it on a YouTube video before, where I watched a 6-hour movie about Jesus's life, and that one movie just moved me in so many ways, because just seeing how the type of person that Jesus was, the way he helped people and turned their lives around, whether the Lord is here and you can see him, which the Lord's always here. He's right next to you at all times. No matter what you're doing, he sees that. He's right next to you. But even if you can't see him, he's still there. But when we're talking about before Jesus was crucified, he was there to touch these people. They could see him. He could help them. He could heal them of whatever it was if they asked for it, or if he just needed to help that person. And he turned so many people's lives around. And whether you can see the Lord or not, he is here. You go to him and pray, and he will change your life 100%. He's changed my life in the last month in the most unbelievable ways. I feel like a much better person. I feel much happier trying to live for God. But the truth is if you're trying to live for God, you are going to have to give up a lot. You're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up lust. You're going to have to stop cussing. You're going to have to stop judging. You're going to have to get rid of these old ways if you want to live for him. But I promise you, in the end, it's going to be worth it. Because if you want to live on earth the way you want to live, and you want to have your own plans and do whatever you want, even if it's wrong, you're going to have what you want on earth, and you're going to enjoy it, but that's just temporary. When you die, that stuff's gone. It was totally not worth it. Like, you could say and do whatever you want. You could hurt people. You could, whatever the case may be, you could do whatever you want here, and you could think that it's all fun and games and you enjoy it. You die, and you're not going anywhere but hell, and it's going to be the worst eternity of your life. But when you try to live for God, it's going to be worth giving all that stuff up, and you're going to get tempted from time to time to go back to your old ways. And sometimes you might do something that you wanted to stop doing, but God will see you trying to change, and he will notice that, and he will notice those things. And when you start living for him, you start changing your old ways, and you try to become a better person. And it's going to be hard. You're going to struggle with it. I still struggle with my old ways, but I know I'm not the person I was last year. I know I'm a much better person now. And if you change your life right now and you try to live for God, when you die, you're going to heaven, and you're going to spend eternity with God. You're going to have people that you had in your life here that have made it there, and it will be the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life. But if you don't try to live for God, you're never going to see that ever, and it's going to be gone, and it's going to be so pointless to just sit here on earth and waste the time that you have to enjoy some things that you're not going to have when you die. And I really just would encourage you people out there if you're struggling with something or you don't know God, I encourage you guys to just turn to the Lord and seek him and try to become a better person, because if you want to make it to heaven, that's the way you got to do it. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that think they're going to make it to heaven just because they're a good person or because they believe in God. You believing in God doesn't mean anything. You can believe in God and still go to hell. I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and she said, I asked her if she was religious or anything, and she said no, but she said that she believed in God. And I was like, yeah, but you do realize just because you believe in God doesn't mean you're going to make it to heaven. I said, you're making terrible decisions right now, that if you keep making those decisions or you don't try to turn to God, you're going to hell. And I told her that. And honestly, I think in the past few weeks, I think I've noticed a little bit of things. I think the Lord is rubbing off on her. I think that the words I'm speaking to her are kind of getting into her head, and I hope they keep doing that. I hope she changes. But it's just crazy how many people think that. And there's good people out there, really good people, but you got to have a relationship with God, because just because you're a good person, you can still cuss, and you can still lust, and you can still judge, but you can still be a good person at the same time. And people get that confused. They think that because they're a good person, but they still do all these things, that they still have a chance of making it into heaven. And I really had that thought too for the longest time, that I thought if I was a good person, no matter what I did, that I was going to go into heaven. And that's not true. You can be the most imperfect person, and we all are. We're all imperfect. Nobody is perfect but the Lord. We are so imperfect. We're going to mess up all the time. We're not going to do hardly anything right. But if you're actually trying to change, and you are changing, and you're trying to live for God, it's going to be hard. But if you do it, you're going to the right place. And it's just crazy. I know a lot of good people that do terrible things, and if they keep living like that without trying to find God or trying to live through him, they're not going to make it into heaven. And it's very unfortunate. And something I wanted to talk about that was in the Bible that I was just talking to my friend with the other day about is, things can be taken from you in a heartbeat. And you can choose to become an evil person if something's taken from you, and you can choose to run away from God and just do all the wrong things. But there's a story in the Bible, which, let me find it, and I will share it with you guys. Find the I have the NIV Bible, in case you guys were wondering. Here, let me find the page, actually. Okay, so I literally just read the entire book. Well, not the entire. I read about half of the book of Job, just so I could refresh my mind. And kind of want to tell you guys how Job had so much faithfulness in God and so much trust in him. So basically, Job was God's most faithful servant. He had everything that you could ever want. And Satan came to God and asked, and he was like telling God, like, if you took everything from Job, like, would he still come to you? Like, and he was like, does Job only serve you because of what he has here on earth? And so basically, he had Satan had God test Job's faithfulness. God took everything away from Job. He took his kids away, all of his land, his house, the animals that he owned. And after so much time of Job not having this, he still trusted God. He still went to God. He knew that God was going to help him during this. And there's some quotes in the Bible which I can probably look up real quick. Go here. We're in the book of Job now. Okay. Actually, this might have been a little further back in the book. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Still looking in here a little bit. Okay, maybe it was further back than I thought. Now we're in Psalms. Okay. I'm going to pause this for a second and I'm going to find the verse. Okay, Job. Oh, my mic was all the way down here. In Job 1:21, it says, "The Lord has gave and the Lord has taken away." And so basically what that's saying is, even though the Lord gave him all of these things and it was taken away, it showed it's basically Job saying that, like, even after all of this stuff was taken away, he still trusted God, right? And eventually through all of this, and Job just showing his faith to God and his trusting in God, God gave back to Job double of what Job had before God took it away. So this is basically just showing that in your life, if something is taken away from you that is so important, don't turn from God and just have this bitterness and this resentfulness for God. I promise you, if you go to him and you trust in him and you have faith in him, he will give to you more than what you had in the first place. And obviously, it's going to be sad whatever's taken from you, but he can work miracles and he can give to you more than what you had before. And this just was Satan trying to test Job. He wanted to see if Job would still trust God, and he did. He, after all of this was taken from him, he still trusted in God, and he was gifted with double the amount of what he had before. And so if you're somebody that's like, you had all this stuff taken from you, don't resent God for it. I mean, like, it's just life. And in this circumstance, God didn't take that stuff from Job just because it was his plan. Satan wanted to test Job's faithfulness, and he had God do it, and God knew that Job would be faithful to him, and he was, even through all of that. So no matter what you're going through and what you got taken from you, always seek the Lord, and he will hear you and he will give to you. The God, man, I am not speaking well today. Oh my gosh. The Lord works in wonderful ways, and he works miracles. He could do anything he wanted to in the blink of an eye. Like, it's just the way he can heal your mind or your spirit or your body, whatever it is, he can do it. And guys, if you don't have God, I really, really would encourage you to go buy a Bible, go to church, learn the ways of God, learn how to live through him and not for yourself, and live for him, and try to be a better person, because I'm sure there's people in your life that you want to see go to heaven. And I'm sure yourself, if you're somebody who's a believer in God, if you want to go to heaven, like, and you don't have the answers are in the Bible. And, God can say things to you and speak through you. So just go pick up a Bible. You can even get on your phone and look up the Bible, and you can find verses and find things. It has all the answers to all your problems in it, and it can really change your life. And I would just encourage you guys to just try to be better people day by day. You're not here forever. Try to make use of what you have here. Try to live for God, and you will spend eternity with Him in the greatest place ever. And it'll be totally worth it. Don't fool around here and be a terrible person. Try to live for God. Try to be a good person, and you will spend eternity with God. And that's really just all I had to talk about today. I hope you guys took something from this video. I hope this moved you, and I hope you guys are able to apply these things to your life and really just have a different outlook. I want to start making more videos like this about certain things. So if you guys have any requests for a certain topic, drop it down in the comments, and I will definitely make a video on it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys can just have a great rest of your day, and just try to find God. But I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, whatever time you're seeing this. And just God bless. Bye, guys.